Smallpox killed more human beings than every war in history combined. In 1978, the world believed it was finally gone. They were wrong. And one woman paid for that mistake with her life. Her name was Janet Parker. She was not a scientist. She was not a soldier fighting an epidemic. She just went to work one morning and never came home. Smallpox, variola virus. For 10,000 years, it stalked humanity without mercy. It left no continent untouched, no century unscathed. A rash that consumed the body, pustules that filled with fluid, a fever that could reach 104 degrees. 1 in 3 people who contracted it died. But in 1977, something extraordinary happened. After a decade-long global campaign involving 150,000 health workers, the last naturally occurring case of smallpox on Earth was recorded. In Somalia, a man named Ali Mau Marlene. He survived. The world exhaled. It was over. Except the virus wasn't gone. It was still alive, in laboratories, including one in Birmingham, England. This is Plague Diaries. Every infection has a story, every outbreak a beginning. And this one begins with a Janet Parker who was 40 years old. She was not a virologist, not a researcher, not a risk-taker. She was a medical photographer. She showed up every day to the Birmingham Medical School, climbed the stairs to her dark room on the first floor, and did her job. Below her, 1 floor down, was the university's Smallpox Research Laboratory, run by one of Britain's most respected virologists, Professor Henry Bedson. Janet Parker worked above that lab every single day. She never thought twice about it. Why would she? In August 1978, Janet begins to feel unwell. A headache, a fever, the kind of thing you shake off. She stays home. She rests. But the rash that follows, that is something no British doctor has seen in years. Something they only recognize from textbooks. Something that should not exist. Her doctor stares at her skin and reaches for the phone. August 24th, 1978. The test results come back. Variola major, smallpox, real, active, in Birmingham. Within hours, the British government activates its emergency smallpox protocol. A plan most officials assumed they would never need. Janet Parker is transferred to Catherine de Barnes Isolation Hospital. Every person she has contacted in the past 3 weeks is traced. Her mother, her father, colleagues, neighbors. 500 people identified within 72 hours. The city doesn't panic because the city doesn't know yet. But inside the Birmingham Medical School corridors, something quieter is happening and far more devastating. Professor Henry Bedson was brilliant, dedicated, respected, and under pressure that very few people knew about. Months before Janet fell ill, the WHO had already flagged his laboratory. Safety concerns, protocol failures. They had recommended the lab be shut down. Bedson had lobbied to keep it open. He needed more time, he said, just a little more time. September 1st, 1978. Janet Parker is still fighting for her life. Her mother, who visited before the diagnosis, has also contracted smallpox. Professor Bedson cooperates with every investigation. He provides every record, answers every question. And then he is found in his garden. He has taken his own life. He was 49 years old. In his note, he writes that he cannot bear the thought of being responsible. He never knew whether she would survive. September 11th, 1978. Janet Parker dies. She is 40 years old. She is the last person in the world to die of smallpox. She never knew how it happened. The inquiry that follows finds failure at every level. Inadequate safety measures in the lab. A ventilation system that was never properly sealed. Staff in the building never warned of the risk they lived alongside. Charges of manslaughter are considered. No one is ever prosecuted. On May 8, 1980, the World Health Organization makes a declaration that has never been made before. Smallpox is eradicated. The only disease humanity has ever permanently defeated. It is a triumph. But in Birmingham, the triumph tastes different. After 1978, labs permitted to hold live smallpox are reduced to just 2 in the world. The CDC in Atlanta and Vector in Russia. That is the direct legacy of Janet Parker. Her death rewrote global biosafety law. We talk about eradication like it is only a scientific achievement. But eradication has a human cost the textbooks rarely mention. Janet Parker went to work on a Monday morning. She developed photographs. She breathed air that moved through a duct, that connected her world to another world she knew nothing about. She never went back. The question this case leaves us with is not just about smallpox. It's about every lab working today on pathogens with pandemic potential. It's about every person who works in a building they trust to be safe. It's about who bears the risk and who makes the decisions. Science will always push forward. It should. But Janet Parker is the reminder that ambition without accountability has a face. It has a name, and it deserves to be remembered. The virus is still out there, locked in 2 freezers, on opposite sides of a world that has never quite agreed on what to do with it. If you survived this episode, subscribe, because the next one's worse. This has been Plague Diaries.